Welcome, everybody. Happy Thursday. It is, what time is it? 6 o'clock. It is live readings time. Welcome aboard. Let's see who's in this chat room, shall we? Give a little bit of welcome. I mean, it's different than my usual lives, which we see on Instagram. I can kind of see people coming and going, but I really can't see people coming and going. And of course, when we try to let more people come through, wait for more people to enter the room. Lisa, welcome. 305 Light and Love Warrior, welcome. Nina, my moderator, is banging it tonight. She's doing wonderful. So treat Nina with kindness and respect. She will guide you. Susan, welcome. Self-Healing You, I think we said that. Welcome too. And we're just going to wait for more people to come through. David Cruz. Allie, welcome. Good to see you, Allie. Shelly, welcome. Jessica, hello. Welcome. Eric E, hello. Deanna, welcome aboard. Happy Friday, Eve. Yeah, I saw Happy Friday. I'm like, wait a minute, am I on the wrong day here? So, welcome, everybody. So, as you know, I will be starting with the collective read. And so, once I start do the collective read for everybody here, then I will open up for live one-on-one readings. And so, as soon as I get my little side overlay up, bam, there it is. So we're done with the collective read. I will open up for questions one-on-one. As you can see, it's $15. It's the wrong side here. $15 for a card pull, $20 for one question, $30 for two questions. And guys, when you're doing your questions and Venmo, PayPal, whatever the case is, put in the comment description the question, okay? If it's a card pull, you don't have to do that. So I see a couple people who have already sent some. I don't know what just happened there. Nita, I want to make sure you are you, am I still on? It just blanked out. I hope it doesn't do that for the rest of this live here. So anyways, so we'll wait for more people to come through and we'll start the collective read and then I'll open up for the one-on-one questions. And we also have a topic today too about karmic lessons. I know a lot of people, question about, how do you understand and know if you're in a karmic lesson? How do you bypass a karmic lesson, but not so much bypass, but how do you move it through? How do you learn it? How do you accomplish the karmic lesson so you can move forward and you can expand and grow in your life? We'll get into that as well. We'll keep that rather short too. This way we can get to the questions that come in today. And the link to PayPal and Venmo is in the bio. And so it should be fairly easy to do so for questions. And we'll wait a couple more seconds so people can come in the room here. And I will shuffle my cards in the meantime. I don't know, there's something really going wrong with this live feed. I've been having like a lot of issues with it lately. Let's try something else here. Let me see if I can fix a setting here, guys, because obviously there's some little bit of lag. And as my moderator is saying, yeah, sorry guys for the technical issues here. Obviously there's something going awry, but let me see if I can, get some fixing of this. I don't understand the issue here, but hopefully we'll get that situated. See, this is live. When things are live, you have the unexpected coming on. Let me see if I can switch to... Here we go. Let's try this. Okay, so maybe this will be a little better. Hopefully I just switched to network. I don't know, guys. I hope it's going to be pretty stable for the rest of the evening. But anyways, I'm shuffling my cards. Nina, is it better now? Is it catching up? Is it streaming okay? I actually been on back and forth with customer support for this streaming service. I might have to find another one. But anyways, I'm still shuffling the cards. Let's see what the message is for the collective. Let's move on through the technical issues here. And we'll see what the message is for the collective. And then, of course, we'll get to the one-on-one questions here as well. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Let's pull some oracle cards now. There's a lot of change a brewing. Let's see here. And we'll shuffle the oracles because you know they're always a great confirmation. Okay. Wheel of Fortune card. Guys, a lot of you going through some changes right now. I would say, you know, a lot of you might be closing a cycle, beginning a new cycle. Now, I don't want to say that you guys are maybe competitive, but if you think in the context of if you have one area of your life that is struggling for attention, while there's another area in your life that is like is consuming a lot of your attention, a lot of you guys might be competitive with your own dynamic in your own lives. And so, for example, if you're hyper focusing on like career, and relationships and other aspects of your life are like struggling for your attention, now it's time to bring it into proper balance. And when you understand that everything in your life has to work in harmony, and you understand everything in your life has to be in that complete balance, then you'll have the flow. Then you'll have that rhythm. Okay, then things will start, you know, happening across the board, and new chapters will open up. New situations and circumstances will unfold in your life. And so they're saying right now that, you know, patience, of course, is required. Patience, right? Now, patience, I always say, does not mean waiting. Patience means nurturing. So I don't know if we got that last live too. If the last live, it was also about patience. I don't remember. I have to check. But from the continuation onto this week, they're saying patience is required, and also your hunger. You have to understand your passion and the desires that you have. So a lot of times you tend to hyper-focus on, a lot of us tend to hyper-focus on one issue. We got to get this one issue, you know, checked in our lives. You got to get this one issue to manifest. Like I said before, but other issues are being deprived of your energy and attention. And if your life is not working in harmony and everything is not working in perfect order with everything else in your life, then there will be an imbalance, a big imbalance. And that's where the struggle and the competition in your life with things that are trying to compete with each other can cause a very much, you know, that imbalance like we just said, but also frustration, a lack of movement, a lack of momentum. So it's very important to understand that we need to be nurturing all the dynamics in our life, not just that one. We have to take a step back from the one area that we're hyper-focusing on, because every dynamic is part of our lives. All of it's part of our lives. All of it's making a whole, okay? And so let me see here. And then boundaries. You guys need to understand how to set your boundaries. You guys need to set massive boundaries right now, guys, because I think if you understand, you know, and you set the parameters of what you need to focus on, the parameters of what you're really desiring in your life, that's very important, right? Because once you guys set the proper boundaries and parameters of what you need to experience in your lives, and you understand that movement of that dynamic of the harmony of everything that's connected to your life, well, guess what? Then you'll have more movement. The new chapter opens up. You start creating that newer paradigm. And so please pay attention, be aware of the things in your life that are going astray, that you're not focusing on because of maybe the obsession of one other aspect. It's very important to think of the big picture and look at things as a whole. Okay, let me see here. Someone's saying there's still more lag. Everybody in the room, is it laggy on your end? I just want to see how many people are experiencing any type of lag. If you guys are in the room in the chat, can you please say yes lag or no lag? Can you please let me know? Because I'm getting a new service, if that's true. Slightly, but not too bad. Okay. You know, 2023. I've been back and forth for a week with this company to try to get these streams to be clear, and they're saying, oh, everything's great. No, nothing's obviously great. Back to the collective. But again, when you guys remind yourselves of the passion that you have, and you remind yourselves of all the skill sets you actually do obtain, and everything that you've accomplished in your past up to this point, and apply that perspective to all the dynamics in your life, movement will start. You'll start seeing more of that movement. You'll start seeing opportunities unfold, like we said before, because then you're allowing your perspective to expand. And when you expand your perspective, then you start seeing the things that you maybe were doing that's holding you back. You start allowing yourself to see things that you can do and be inspired to make certain changes and steps forward for things to manifest in your life. And so I think it's very important to understand your life as a whole. And if you are hyper-focusing on one specific issue and nothing really is moving forward with that one specific issue, it's time to tend to all the other aspects and dynamics of your life to provide more movement, insight, clarity, even some more lightness. It all kind of lightens up your life when you kind of set something aside for a little bit and let things kind of fester and nurture it a little bit more. Instead of pushing it, nurturing it. I think a lot of times we as humans tend to like push. When we don't understand something, we push, and we keep, trying to assert more of our, force onto things instead of just allowing things to take its natural toll. Because one thing we need to understand is that the soul knows what it's doing. So a lot of times within the spiritual communities, we hear people say, oh, let go. And so, we hear that so many times about letting go, but what the hell does that even mean, and why, and how are things going to work out if we let go? Well, when we're saying let go, it's letting go of your physical perspective on things and start allowing yourself to think from the soul. Because when you think from the soul, your soul already knows what it needs to do, what it's going to do, what it wants to accomplish. That's why you have desires. Your desire stems from your soul. When you allow that to take its, forefront of your life, you allow the soul perspective to be the dominant perspective, then what happens is then you start seeing things. You start understanding why you're in the circumstances that you are in. You start seeing the path unfold the way it needs to unfold. And so I think it's very important for everybody to look at those aspects and say to yourself, or at least also understand that when your brain is focusing on something, or brain thinks there's a problem, it will, cycle in a loop. And it will stay stuck in a loop until it figures out a solution. And a lot of times, we as humans get stuck in a loop. We don't even realize that we're stuck in a loop, and we don't even realize that we have to create a solution for the problem. We're just like, what is this? We get stuck in the what is it? Why? And so instead of, ask yourself why, look at the results and understand what created those results and what you can create next to create better results. But that also comes from looking from within to your soul instead of trying to think it through the whole time. Sometimes you have to stop thinking to allow their soul to take its voice, so that voice can be more dominant, be the dominant expression and a dominant perspective. And that's where I think a lot of people have confusion, is because when we keep thinking, like trying to be analytical about things, and it's outdated logic from the past. And a lot of times we're relying on logic from situations, from negative situations, that that logic is not so reliable. And so sometimes we have to take a step back and hear ourselves, listen to ourselves. Okay? Because again, when you get stuck in that mental loop, it's hard to get out of it, right? Because you're not aware. So when you're always aware and objective about what's happening in your life, the movement, the clarity comes in, manifests, the movement, you start seeing movement happening. You start realizing, almost like you become more real. I would say you realize, but it's almost like you gather information from spirit about, do this, you're not doing this correctly. All that information becomes natural to you. It's almost like, again, you're allowing your guides to guide you. You're allowing your soul to guide you. That's very, very important. And so when you guys take that approach to things, and you stop letting areas in your life compete with each other, and you allow things to work in harmony, and you start attending to every different aspect of your life, you start seeing change and momentum. Now, a lot of people might be having health issues, and they might be focusing so much on their health, but they're not focusing on their mental health. They're not focused on their emotional traumas that have been unresolved, that could potentially create those illnesses, as we talked about in the last live about, illness manifestations. So we have to understand too that sometimes one dynamic of our lives could be causing issues in another dynamic of our lives. So, when we start looking at ourselves and we start looking within and understand objectively what is happening in our lives and how we're applying ourselves and how we're nurturing different things in our lives, then we can see where we're probably shortchanging ourselves, which is very important to understand that too. Because different dynamics can trigger other things in other areas of your life. It's very important to understand that. We are one being. Remember, we think relationship, we think career, we think all these different aspects, we think health, but all of it is us. And if one of those things is out of balance, we're out of balance. If we're out of balance, of course, other things and other dynamics will be out of balance as well. So they're all us. We tend to think of those things like separate from ourselves, or we tend to think that, again, we have to focus on this thing that's outside of ourselves. And I'm saying these things are extensions of us. And so it's very important to understand that those extensions are reflections, and they're also messengers too. So as the cards are saying too, it is time. There is a new there's a new cycle beginning for a lot of those that are in the room here today. And I think a lot of the new opportunities are becoming present, and a lot of, I would say, opportunities for change, moving. I think there's maybe 4 people in the room, 3 or 4 people in the room I'm sensing a move is calling you. And you might be questioning this. You might be saying, well, I don't know if I should be taking this move, but I feel like I have to move. I think there's like a location that is calling me. And, it's time to take that leap. It's time to take that jump. You feel it. But I think it's because it's such an abrupt change and that you're questioning whether or not that's going to be a safe or healthy change. You're saying, no, it's a good change. Change is good, right? And of course, you do that with intellect and you do be an objective and make sure, of course, you're doing things correctly. We're not saying just to jump out off a whim without any type of, intellect or research or knowledge. That's silly. But what I'm saying is those who know that the change is calling you, and those, like I said, the 3 or 4 people in the room that are being called to move, really reconsider and make that an actual possibility for yourselves. Because I'm really sensing that in the room too. There's people that need to hear that about moving and relocating, and that door's opening up for you, and to take that call. Okay. So let's see if there's maybe another call. I was very distracted by the technical difficulties. Guys in the room, how is the technical difficulties? Blondie7, welcome. Good to see you. Ali, thank you. Nightbot, what? Welcome to the stream. Are you guys, how is the lag, guys? Is the lag okay? Is it gotten better? How is it? Because on my end, it looks clear as hell, but you guys are probably getting a very washed out, laggy version of me, which is no bueno. Okay, so let me see if there's another card we can pull, and we'll close up the collective read. We'll get into my quick topic about karmic lessons, because I think a lot of people had questions about that and still have questions about that as well. I just want to conclude the collective. It was a wobbly presentation, that collective, because the technical issues. Oy vey. Oy vey. But let's see the final card they want to pull for y'all. Creation. Very simple, guys. You guys are creators. And I hate to sound cliche. We're creating all this, and there's a fine line. This is actually going to lead very perfectly into the topic. Which is wonderful. We are creating our own experiences. Now, a lot of people say, oh, does that mean we're victim blaming? And so that everything is happening because of, I've created it. And we're saying it goes a lot deeper than that. We don't understand like the lessons of the past that we have unresolved that create issues in our present and future. And we understand the big picture, and not just within this lifetime, but within our past lifetimes. And we understand that we're carrying a lot of that unresolved that turn into, of course, into physical manifestations and experiences that do manifest. It's important to understand, yes, is because of our growth or lack of. Hear that again. It's because of our growth or the lack of growth. And so if we're not growing, then yes, it's almost like situations will be like, hello, wake up. Are you getting this? And if for example, if a lot of people are lacking self-care, well then eventually that's going to catch up to you where there'll be some sort of health issue that you're going to have to attend to. Or so many people keep going, don't know how to slow down, and then boom, something happens where they're forced to slow down. And we think these are negative circumstances, but I would say these circumstances are always kind of trying to help us so we don't burn out in the wrong way that could be more disastrous. So it really depends on how, I would say, resistant you are to growing and changing. And also, as we understand that life has, physical life builds on momentum. And the more resistance you have, of course, that momentum is going to increase. And of course, the manifestation of what will happen, the outcome that will happen, will be greater and greater until you decide to change that current, right? So it's very important to understand this. And these currents are coming from our past lives as well, which leads us to karmic lessons. Because karmic lessons, again, are, I would say, unresolved from previous lifetimes, as I just said. So people say, oh, that's their karma. We think in the context of the fact that it's like a punishment. And I always say karma is just a result, right? And unlearned lessons and memory that we carry from our lifetimes in totality of our being. So, and a lot of people say, well, how do you identify what a karmic lesson is? And I would say any habitual challenge that you have in this lifetime is your karmic lesson. And it could be self-love. It could be the fact that you're not appreciating yourself in relationships, or you're giving yourself away too much, or you're allowing yourself to be a victim in certain situations, not allowing yourself to summon the strength or power. There's so many different reasons and why you can have karmic lessons. One reason is, again, failure of growth. And so you have to learn and broaden your perspective as a soul in order to expand, to realize who you are through those circumstances. Or a lot of times, there is what I would say the common general term of karma, where people have done something bad in a previous lifetime and now they're experiencing the results in this lifetime. That is true too. Many people have victimized people in a previous lifetime, and so they become a victim in this lifetime to learn what it's like to be a victim. And so many people, always say, they're like, well, how do I know what I've done in a previous lifetime that's carrying on in this lifetime? And I would say the same thing I just said before. It's the habitual challenges that you keep experiencing. If you are some of a victim in this lifetime, then you understand that it's time for yourself to empower yourself to no longer become that victim. And understanding what it's like, and even to have an empathy for victims as well. And that could be another reason why you're experiencing victimization this lifetime, is to have empathy for victims, because possibly you didn't have empathy in the previous lifetime, or you victimize people. So many different variables. But the one thing you understand is the lesson that is the underlining, I would say a lesson under all those circumstances that you are experiencing. And I always say, again, is the expansion of your soul. And that is the lesson that needs to be learned. And when you do learn that lesson and you see it objectively and you allow the soul to expand on that, then you just elevate it. And of course, when you learn the karmic lessons, then the rewards, that's where the manifestations come in. That's why, again, I don't give credit to the law of attraction doing those things. It is you learning your lessons and altering and rendering a whole new reality, because everything all lines up. So it's the soul that manifests, right? It's not some law parameter. So when you are focused on growing the soul and you're focused on learning those lessons and expanding from these negative, disempowering circumstances, well, then things happen, things come in your life the way you want them to. That's where the magic really happens. Things start unfolding the way you want them to unfold. So it's very important to understand that, and it's not about whether or not you're thinking right or thinking not. You definitely want to be focused on whether or not you're empowering yourself or not. But sometimes in a disempowering circumstance, there might be anger that you need to release in the circumstance to elevate into joy, because there is an emotional scale that we go off of. The lowest is depression, then anger, then hopelessness, and depression, and then there's hope, and then there's peace, and it goes up to joy. I'm trying to get it specifically in my mind. But there's a spectrum there. And so sometimes to get out of hopelessness, you have to, summon a little anger. And sometimes a little anger can not be so pretty, but it's getting you to evolve and to empower yourself to get up to hope, and then to get up to, of course, empowerment at the top. There's a scale there. But if you're only focusing beating yourself up or thinking negatively, then you'll never get there. You'll just stay stuck and stay in deprivation mode, always desiring, always wondering why things aren't happening to you or for you. And I always say life is happening through you, okay? And so a lot of people say, well, that's victim blaming when we talk about, we're responsible for everything. And I would say, look, we have two options. We're either responsible for things in our lives because of, our karmic history, past lives, whatever the case is, that we have the power to change it, or we're completely powerless and life is completely random and people are just victims just because life is just shitty. I don't know, me personally, I'd rather choose the empowerment option than the fact that things don't make sense, things just happen, and we're just sometimes victims and just get the shit end of the stick. We have two options. But what is true is we can overcome anything. So if we can overcome anything, then of course it is true that we are actually changing and we actually are creating these things in our lives, because if we were not, then we wouldn't be able to overcome them as we can overcome them. We'd be stuck no matter what. But once we overcome that, then the circumstances do change and we do elevate. And so, but again, a lot of the parameters, involve whether or not, we are overcoming our previous karma and our karmic lessons. And so look at your lives right now, guys, and everything that you're consistently challenged by, that is a karmic lesson that you need to learn in this lifetime. And if you don't learn it in this lifetime, then of course we get pushed right back in the reincarnation loop, right? Without choice. But if we evolve in this lifetime, what we intend to evolve within, then, of course, when we pass on, have a passing experience, we will have a choice of what we want to do, reincarnate and into what different parameters. We'll have a choice to do so if we allow ourselves to evolve, okay? So please be mindful of that. And life is not about obtaining things. Everyone's so focused on obtaining things. I have to have this relationship. It's about the experience. It's about you being able to express yourself. If you look at the experiences that you're desiring in your life right now and focus on the fact that that's how you're going to express yourself and what that version of yourself really is, well, you wouldn't necessarily need the experience. You'll be able to express yourself the way you are now, truly deep down inside, on the soul level, and then you'll actually manifest and build and create those results, because we live in a cause and effect reality. Okay, so you are always the cause. The result is whatever you actually are creating, both consciously and unconsciously. That's important to understand, okay? Where are we at in these comments here? Last week was lit. Well, hey, this week is lit too. We're going to light this up this week too, okay? So let's not dismiss last week. Lafayette, welcome. Good to see you, brother. Welcome aboard. Okay, so let me get to now the one-on-one questions. The technical issues was throwing my mind off. So if I've been tripping on my words because the technical issues have been kind of bugging me and annoying me and distracting me because that's my OCD. Okay, so let me see the questions here we have now. Let me log back in because for some reason PayPal wants to just log me out because I've been idle for what, 10 minutes here? Yeah. There's something with the technological stars. Where's Christopher? Christopher, what's going on with the planets, buddy? Are you in the room? Where's my astrological friend here? Okay. First question is from Claudia. And do we have a question here for Claudia? Claudia Ramirez. I just have a for one question, but let me see if there's a question here. To me, Claudia's question. Claudia, I would like to know how to identify how to heal the root of my anxiety. Was it due to my ancestors? It got manifested by chest pain and like a sore throat. Okay, your manifest. Let's see. Your root of anxiety. It's not from your ancestors. It's a result. I don't want to say trauma, but it's a result of past experiences. What I'm hearing, Claudia, is that you have an issue, or there's been an issue, utilizing your voice, speaking up for yourself, feeling a little, I would say, and look back in your past, I think a lot of times you're not allowed to speak for yourself or stand up for yourself. So I'm feeling like there's a lot of that repression in your past experiences. In this lifetime, that's caused you to withhold what you want to say, truly. And I think a lot also is very suffocating for you. And it's almost like you want to say the things that you want to say. You want to speak up for yourself, but part of you has a reservation about that. That's where I think your core of anxiety is stemming from, is the lacking the ability and the power to just speak up for yourself. Speaking your mind, speaking your truth. And I think that, and I'm not saying you don't do it at all. I'm saying there's a struggle with this that's causing a lot of the anxiety. Because when you feel like you're actually maybe appeasing somebody else, or you feel like that you're just kind of saying things that people want to hear, but it's not really truly how you feel, you kind of feel like you're killing your part of yourself. You feel like you're shutting yourself down. And that's where I think the anxiety is really manifesting from. And that could be very suffocating too, where you almost like feel tight, and you feel like your chest is getting tight and so forth, because there's a lot of pressure when you silence your own voice. So I think it's very important for you to understand that, and to really work on summoning your own voice, summoning the power within yourself, speaking your mind and saying the things that you really know that you want to be saying. And for me, I feel like a lot of this comes from your mother energy, right? So it's going to come from either one or two. And I don't feel like the mother energy was intentional on this when you're growing up, but I feel like your mother energy kind of didn't really let you think outside of the box, didn't let you really say what you wanted to say. She kind of had to say things for you, right? And so I think you've just inherited that pattern. And now as an older woman, grown woman, I mean older as in old, I mean grown woman, you still have that struggle, that battle of speaking for yourself and saying for yourself. And that's where the anxiety is really coming from. And I also feel like you've been kind of letting things kind of slide that you shouldn't be sliding either. That's the core source of anxiety. So I would say we don't have to go back into past lifetimes, say it's because of this why I'm experiencing now. We don't always have to deal with the karmic lessons. A lot of times what we're experiencing is because of this lifetime, what we've incarnated into. But the karmic lesson could be parallel and just like a streamline from the past experience. About, in your case, this is self-empowerment, standing up for your truth and standing up for what you believe is true for yourself and having your own voice. Okay, Claudia? So that's what I'm getting with that. And I'll pull an oracle card as a little bonus. I do like to give you guys more, so Claudia, my advice to you is to focus on speaking your truth. Okay? Speaking your truth and speaking what you know is true for you. I mean, can't make it up. It's your will. You know, stay true to your will, to your own will. You know what I'm saying? And even if there's situations, people that oppose your will, then stand up for your own will and don't allow it. I think you're allowing too many people to, you know, trample on your voice and trample on your thoughts. And we're saying, don't do that. And it doesn't mean you have to, you know, say F off to everybody. It just means that you're not tolerating it for yourself. Okay? You're not allowing yourself to dismiss your own perspective and your own voice. So it's starting there emotionally. Okay? Thank you for the question, Claudia. Claudia, you can respond in the group chat if you have any responses to that. Or I need some clarification. If not, I will move on. Okay, we have next question was for. Sorry guys, like PayPal just wants to act so stupid over here. Okay, we got Claudia, no, Helen Bewley. Just a random card pull, which is fine. And you know, you get more from random card pulls. This is for Helen Bewley, card pull. Shout out to Helen Bewley. What? Let me turn this music off. I try to be like fancy by putting music on. It just ain't working. There's an option. I'm like, let's do it. So screw that. Let me shut that music off. Just be in Zen mode. Okay, let's see what Spirit needs to say for Helen. Okay. Let's be very head on. I had to shuffle a lot for her. You know when I make that face? Y'all know what that means. It means I gotta get into something. Very interesting. There's two aspects here I want to mention for you, Helen. One is, I think you've allowed relationships to influence your abundance. And when I say abundance, we're talking about financial abundance, material abundance. So you might be relying or relied on the material abundance when it comes to relationships, or you've gotten so in deep with relationships, they've actually pushed you away from your abundance and deprived you of your abundance, because I think you might be getting so much into the wrong relationships to where you start realizing, why is everything going wrong for me? Why am I losing things in my life? And they're saying it's because you overemphasize your relationships in a way, and we're not just talking about romantically, and romantically is part of it too, but even when it comes to friendships, to where you start actually seeing things lose in your life because of your emphasis on these relationships that are just not the right relationships for you. And so you need to understand what is an actual partnership and what does that mean for you. We're talking about relationships when it comes to romantic, but also relationships when it comes to friendships and family, all dynamics of relationships. You need to understand, what does that true partnership really mean? Are you carrying too much of it? Are you the one that's only contributing? Because if you are, you're actually allowing them to rob you of your energy, which means what the physical manifestation or reflection would be is that you're kind of robbing yourself of your own abundance. And on the other side of this, you have a lot of abundance. So I feel like you're good at creating things and altering reality where you can align with a lot of abundance and so forth. And you might even be what some people might call, great manifester or whatnot. I just say you're using your power. So you can say you're a great manifester, but you're just using your power. So you already have things that are going to be coming to fruition, but you have to understand that with you, relationships can actually destroy your flow of abundance. You have to be very aware of this, and stop getting into relationships that will turn things upside down. Okay. On the flip side of that, so, I feel like you've actually let go of a few relationships. I feel like there's been, some relationships you've cut out. There might be one relationship particularly right now that's on the way out, as it should be. And so they're kind of putting a severance between that and between the fact is you let these relationships go, you're going to start seeing things come back into fruition for yourself and having that abundance for yourself. Okay. And so I think that you're one of the individuals in the beginning of the collective read that I was saying that there's like a new chapter beginning for you. And I feel like there is a new chapter beginning. So I most feel like you've kind of separated yourself from the negative aspects of these relationships that you realize have turned your life upside down, and that's and figuratively speaking, of course. Unless you like to hang upside down, I don't know. Maybe you're a gymnast. Who knows? I'm just kidding. But you are now in the phase of what you've been wanting and working for and striving for to come into fruition, and that quote unquote abundance that you seek, and the way you seek it is now available to you. You'll start seeing that flow again. So I'm feeling like you have been separating yourself from that older paradigm, and that newer paradigm is beginning. Okay, but you have to be very mindful that you exhaust yourself in some of these relationships. Things flip upside down in your life. You might realize, why am I having money problems? There's no reason why I'm having money problems. You realize because you're giving your worth away to these individuals, and they're just basically robbing you of your energy. And so, but I feel like you've stopped that. I feel like you realized that you no longer need to be doing that in your life, and so things are moving forward. So I do sense that you're going to have more of a movement forward, which seeing things kind of more come into fruition that you've been wanting to come into fruition. Primarily with a work endeavor too. I feel like a work endeavor might be manifesting if you're thinking about starting a new work endeavor, or doing something like independently or on your own. I'm feeling like that's also a possibility that will unfold as well. So like a new career opportunity, something independent. It could be if it's a side thing or side hustle or something of that nature, or just something you've already been doing in the independent space. Then I feel like that's all going to come blossoming, and you're going to see a lot more people being attracted to what you're offering and giving in that sense. Okay, so I feel like you've been actually separating between that. Okay, oof. Just had a little pain in my stomach. There's Christopher said he was ill. My friend was ill with the stomach problems, and another one of my followers couldn't make it. She's had issues. There's been like a lot of weird illness things going on the past couple of days. I think you said something, Christopher. Did you say so? I missed it. You said it's some sort of planet. Christopher Witecki is in the room. Holler to Christopher Witecki. Yeah, it's messy. Okay, I see that. Yeah, it's got some messy energy. I can definitely see the messy energy. I mean, just getting the live started was messy. All right, so we just finished. That was for Helen. Let's go to Jeannie Backen. She wants one question. YouTube, okay. My health and life of myself and family have been in chaos for 3 years. What do I need to know? Thank you. What do you need to know? This is very similar. I think maybe you're having stomach issues too. Maybe that's what I'm picking up on. Your digestive system's out of whack. So I'm gonna get your name so I can address you, Jeannie. First of all, your digestive system is out of whack. I right when I went for your question, I felt it, and I'm feeling it now. And I think you're gonna need to work on maybe a gut cleanse right now, or getting some probiotics. Your digestive system is upside down. I don't know if you're on 2 or 3 medications. I've seen this before. For some reason, I think the medications, and see, it went away. When I address something and it goes away, it means that was true. So I no longer feel the pain anymore that I've addressed it. So I know it's you that's having these issues. There are 2 or 3 medications that you're having that are not working well together. It's causing stomach issues. I've seen this happen before. You might want to look at that and try to get yourself on some probiotics as well, because I think your gut is like shredded. There's also respiratory issues. Okay. I'm going to be direct on this. It's what I said in the beginning about a cause and effect reality. If we don't attend to ourselves and we fall apart because of that, we can't wonder why we've fallen apart. I'm sensing a lot of lack of self-care on these issues that I'm sensing with health right now. And I feel like you're being massively responsible for everybody else. And you're trying to like fix everybody else's problems instead of your own, which you need to stop doing. And so you have to get your own home in order first before you can attend to anybody else's. There's a lot of scattered energy. It's very fragmented to me that I feel like you feel responsible for others in your family, and they're not doing anything to make any sort of change either, and you're suffering because of this. It's almost parallel to the reading I said before, except yours deals with health. Okay? You have to pull yourself back from the responsibility of others. And look, you can care about people all you want and care about your loved ones. You don't have to take away that care. But if you're suffering in the process because you're not attending to your own needs, there's a problem there. And you're not going to be able to help anybody if you can't, help yourself, of course. So they're saying you have to pull back on your responsibility for others in your family. You have to start attending to your own garden. And a lot of these health issues are just, again, energy that's catching up with you guys in the family. And I feel complacent energy when it relates to health. And a reliance upon, let me do a disclaimer here. I'm not anti-Western medicine. I'm pro-Western and Eastern, whatever works. And of course, it's not just one or the other. But you just can't take medication as a solution to fix everything if you're not fixing what's actually causing the situations. And so I think a lot of that is wrapped in your family to where if something's wrong, let's just got a medication for it, not make and piling on medications instead of just allowing yourself to figure out what you're consuming, what you're engaging with, and also your mental health and the stress. You're not fixing the causes, so it's just piling up and piling up, piling up, piling up, piling up, piling up. So my love, the first thing I want to say to you is that you need to pull away from the responsibility from others. And you have to start attending to yourself and look more acutely about what's going on in your own mental health and physical health and attend to it. And let the others in your family who are having health issues, and whether or not, and if you're caretaking someone, then you can caretake them very objectively and seek help and assistance. You can't do this all on your own right now. I don't feel like you have much help, and I think it's a huge burden where my heart goes out for you because I don't feel like anyone really is helping you. I get a lot of lip service. Oh, yeah, I'll help you. I'm here for you. No one's there for you. So the way to change that is to be there for yourself and empower yourself and to get yourself out. Because, man, I'm just tapping into you. My stomach is upset. I feel fatigue. My head is heavy. It's like I get pain in my head. My chest feels tight. Your body is very acidic right now. So I think that you need to re-alkaline your body, your pH in your system, and understand these medications are tearing up your stomach and your gut right now, and they're not working well together. So be objective. I say really focus on you and say, I got to get my house in order. I love my family, but I need to ask for assistance from other family members or use their resource to bring some sort of, aid in or something. But you have to create solutions, my love, because this is why this is happening right now. It's a lot of that, the dismissive energy of self is catching up now. And you've inherited that behavior from your family, unfortunately, when it comes to the health issues. Okay? I pulled a card. That was a little long-winded, but yeah, my stomach is really, really tight right now. I can just feel the tightness. A lot of discomfort. A lot of discomfort. Okay. Yeah, look at this. And I always will close and pull a card for you guys too in extra, just to give you something more. But realization, that's very interesting. Everything we're saying is about making that realization, my love. And that's exactly what the cards are saying here. You got to make that realization of self-realization, unlocking how you've been stifling your own power and energy and focus on the self and not letting others be the focus instead of yourself. That's the message there, okay? All right. Spirit, please release the energy because it's painful. Okay, we got Kim Murphy-Orr is next. She wants 2 questions. All right, Kim. Oh, Kim Murphy-Orr. I've been admitted to the hospital with a kink in my left carotid artery. 50% blood getting to my brain. Will I survive this? Will money problems get better for my family? Okay, let's look at the first. Yes.
It's 6:45.
Yes, I feel like somehow they're able to stop that from happening. somehow or diverge it. I don't know what the medical term would be for them to prevent that blood from getting to the brain. So I feel like they'll be able to either, if they drain it or they redirect it somehow, I feel like they will be able to do so. Let me see if there's anything that you can do. They're saying it's going to be a process. There's going to be a process on this. What you can do right now, you're going to have to eat very clean right now, love. I would recommend, going on a higher fat diet. The ketogenic diet was, of course, derived from back in the early 1900s to cure epilepsy. So the higher fat diets helps with brain and cognitive functions. And so in a situation like this, I would definitely recommend that you go on a high fat diet for this duration of this period until things heal. And eliminate any type of topicals that could be toxic too, because that also affects the brain. And I think that will also curb inflammation, which the inflammation is what causes blood clotting. Okay? So being that's more neurological, and this is my recommendation, and of course you have doctors on this, but this is my opinion, okay? I'm just giving my opinion, my perspective. And you have a doctor you're working with. But open your perspective to see other things. I would definitely recommend a higher fat diet at this moment in time, and eliminating any type of chemicals or processed chemicals, even like synthetic sugars or synthetic sweeteners that cause brain, like aspartame is horrible for the brain. So get rid of those gums. If you're chewing gum, get rid of it. They all have aspartame in it. Okay? You got to preserve brain health right now and get rid of inflammation. This way you can actually curb the blood clotting. And then, of course, it can actually, whatever they're doing to assist will be more effective. Okay? But you're going to have to change your regimen on this right now. Be very adamant about that. Okay? Things that lots of people consume things they don't think is a problem but are causing major problems. So you will, but it's going to be, you need patience and you need to change your regimen for that to heal and to heal effectively, and eliminate anything like aspartame or anything of those types of aspartame. There's another one that sounds similar. Get rid of those because they screw with your brain. They're bad for the brain. I'm a believer, and there's been studies on that aspartame causes like brain cancer. Just be mindful of that. Again, it's in gums. It says, people chew gum and they don't realize they're having a lot of aspartame. So yes, that's what I would recommend. It would be patient time or time that requires patience. And let's see for, will money problems get better for your family? I'm looking for a timeline. It's always going to get better. Yeah. It's one of those situations, again, like no one's really doing anything. And here's another one where Kim, like you do everything. Just like the last read. You're doing everything. You're worrying about everybody. No one's really bringing that energy to the table. Eventually, but my love, take the lesson from this situation is that you are in the situation, so you can actually now have to focus on you and only you. These questions are like very, like almost like you're all kind of coming from the same path. Because these messages are very parallel, the last three. And so you have to get yourself to focus only on you right now. And quite frankly, yeah, but your mind problems with like you and your family, yeah, eventually it will get back into its proper balance. But you got to learn this lesson so you can allow it to. So you can allow it to. And then you'll find your healing. But you have to also learn the lesson is you have to really focus on yourself and stop, I would say, stop allowing your mind to be congested with so many things other than your well-being. Again, these questions, the past few questions are like almost like so much similarity. But allow yourself to be focused on what is best for you and stop worrying about other things and other people. Again, it's a similar message from the last person. Let this be that lesson now. It's all about you right now. Okay? And you'll have to make do what you make do through the circumstance. Everything will work out in the end if you're focusing accordingly. But this is a short read on this, so I don't have the time to read all the other members in your family. but at the same time, you have to you will influence those connected to you. So when you're focusing on your healing, you're focusing on the betterment of yourself, you will influence those who are close to you. And those who are not influenced by it, well, they have to learn. They have their own life to learn. You can't carry people right now. This is for the last three questions for Janine. I think her name was as well. You can't carry people. You can't. You're not strong enough to carry people. It's not your job to carry people. Everybody in the room, listen. It's not your job, guys, in this room to carry people. It's not. And if you think you're strong enough to carry people, then start demonstrating a little bit of that strength for yourself first to prove it to yourself that you can. Okay? It's a small group today, but it's a very busy group today. It's interesting. There's a lot of energy. It's a small group. It's only, usually, I have about 60 in the room. It's only like 20, but it's an active 20. I like it. It is good energy. Small group, but big energy. It's interesting. I think a lot of people are ill, too. A lot of people have been sick today. I'm getting a lot of people not being able to show up because of that. Okay, and then we have Pagine, and then I have my Venmo questions that are coming too. I have Deanna. I have a question for Deanna coming up. Juanita's coming up, and Noel Way coming up. So we have three. Those are questions in order that I'll be doing. Okay, guys. so I know I see y'all. Okay, Begin has two questions. I have a reservation about the relationship I'm in. I've gotten some red flags. However, he's no sweet. Okay, so we'll look at the relationship. I'm not gonna. Hold on a second. I'll look at the relationship. I don't want to. You kind of explain the relationship a little bit like that. I want to kind of, me, Piggy, and I want to read it for you without you giving the information. And the second question is, I got some stuff going on with Social Security. Meeting come up regarding my disability, and they all want welcome to my bank. Da 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 da. I am back to work and notified them. I'm a bit worried why they want all that. Okay, let me see that. Okay, first of all, the relationship that you're talking about. Let's look at that. Okay. There's nothing overtly wrong with this individual. I'm going to be very 3D for a moment. This individual is very douchey. Okay. I'm not a fan of the energy. I think a lot of this personality is about him. It's got to be on his rhythm, his timing, attention. How much can he pull from somebody, and enjoys being enamored. And I think you're really good at enamoring people, Pagine. I really think you're really good at enamoring people. And then because you're good at enamoring people, then you just hit it off because you're really good at putting them on a pedestal. You're really good at kind of being bright and showing them that type of that attention. And so I think, again, that you have to understand that when you don't give that attention, guess what's going to happen? He's out the door. So I'm not fond of this dynamic. And I think, again, it could be rather douchey. And there's a rudeness I get with him, too. It could be slightly rude. I feel like there's going to be an instance where you might be out with him and he treats a service member or like a waitress or waiter very poorly. And that's going to be a red flag for you. So look out for that. You're going to be out one time, he's going to be very rude to a service member. And I think that's going to be a red flag for you that says, yeah, this guy's just rude. He doesn't respect people. So, no. My advice, my opinion, Rita, is no. You're good at enamoring people, and he loves being enamored. When that goes away, there's nothing to that dynamic. Let me see. Okay, with the Social Security, I think this is protocol lately, especially after the coronavirus and coronavirus. Who says that anymore? After COVID age, a lot of people are scamming with disability, social security, all that stuff. So I think it's kind of protocol. It's not anything specific with you. So because you notified, they want to go through everything. So I just think they might reflect things. I don't feel like there would be anything necessarily. Yeah, you got Queen of Pentacles, Five of Pentacles. So yeah, I think you'll be fine in that regard. I don't sense there'll be anything negative coming from that. Just kind of touching up base. It seems protocol, not so much that they're like red flagging you, per se, but more protocol on that. And so, but yeah, there's been a lot of people that's been scamming SSI and disability, and but since after COVID, that now they're just like really kind of tightened down, the parameters of such is what I'm sensing here. This is protocol. Okay. So, and you told me you've gone back to work. Some people don't say anything. So, okay. Who's next? We got Deanna Corley. Deanna Corley. Why do I always feel such tension with my mom? Good one. Let's see. Deanna, are you there? What's going on in this chat? Yeah, big group energy, right? Really, like last week was like 60 something. It was chill, but like we have only like 23 people in here, and it's like big energy. You got that big energy. Okay, Deanna Corley, why do I feel such tension with my mom? The question I want to say is, why does your mom have so much tension with you? Let me look at that dynamic closer. Okay, I feel like what you're picking up is you're picking up a lot of energy from your mom. Let me see what that is. Okay, one thing I heard, and it's rather simple. I feel like your mom resents you because she can't mother you. Let's fluff down the resentment word. It's not heavy resentment, but your mom can't mother you. You kind of know what you're doing in your life. Your mom sees things differently, but the way you see things differently from her works for you, and it bothers her because she can't tell you what to do. It's actually that simple. So you're feeling like there's like an opposition, like you might be intuitively feeling like there's an opposition with her, and there kind of is because of that. That she's not able to really bring anything to the table with you because you kind of know what's best for you already, and are very headstrong. And I feel like you make good decisions for you. And part of her resents you subconsciously, minorly, because she can't guide you, and because she hasn't been the one to guide you. That's the tension. So it's a minor, like mild resentment, actually. So I think that there's nothing you can do to change that, because that means what would you have to do? Like kind of give her credit? I mean, if you want to give her credit and let her mother you, I think then you'll start seeing like a very different, dynamic. If you ask her opinion on things, you say, Mom, what do you think about this? And kind of allow yourself to, show a little bit of vulnerability with her and ask for opinions and appreciate it. Then you might see her loosen up a bit. I feel like the intention is her with you because of that fact. And if you want to have that relationship with her and break those walls, then that's what I would recommend, is that you just ask her opinion on things that just you don't really need opinions on, but you just want to get her insight and you're appreciative of it, and say, thanks, Mom. Just kind of let her feel like she can mother you. That's what it really is. I don't think she feels like she can mother you because you might be too strong, like I said before, and you make decisions for yourself that just works all the time, and you know what you're doing. So that's what I'm sensing from that, which is sweet but annoying at the same time. Sweet, but like it's like, all right, Mom, come on, be proud of me. Okay, Juanita Gamboa, card pull, please. Well, I say card pull, but I pull like 3 or 4. Why? Because I'm generous like that. You get a card. We all get a card. Was that playing Oprah? Y'all get a card. Oh shit! Watch my microphone. Okay, let's see, Juanita. That's not even my full deck of cards. I was only shuffling like a quarter of my cards here. Guantanamera. That's what it reminded me of. We'll add Juanita. Juanita.
It's 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, says my computer. Let's shuffle. Let's see what your guides want to say to you, Juanita? Interesting. Okay. You have to let a man go. Let me see if it's past or present too. There's a male energy in your life that's just is not trustworthy, that you have to let go. I feel like there's a male energy that's giving you, it's causing too much pain for you. Whether it's be romantic or even could be a family member. I don't know, but it just feels like a close relationship to me. And because we're so distant, I guess it could be clear, but it feels like it could be a past relationship too that you haven't let go of. I feel like this creates trust issues for you. And I feel like this dynamic is still causing some sort of heartache for you and heartbreak, and tension emotionally. So if he's still present, then he's got to go. If he's in the past, he's got to go emotionally. A lot of times in general reads like this, if the energy is like in the past, but like somehow the energy is still current, it reads like they're still there. So they might be gone, but still there energetically, or you might be back and forth with a specific individual. I don't know in which parameter that is, but I do feel like there is that relationship is caused a lot of pain and trust issues. It's got to go. It's time for change. It's time for change. And I haven't been really showing the cards, which is probably my bad too, because I don't really use cards in my personal readings, so I'm just doing it for on air. But I got the, King of Wands, and then I got the Three of Swords, and the World card, which I didn't get to yet, which I think, again, that's more symbolic for me, that when you let go of this past relationship that's causing that heartache and trust issues, which the trust came in reversed here, you'll see a whole new world, like metaphorically. And I think that you'll allow yourself to accompany what you want to do in the bigger spectrum of your life. I feel like this dynamic relationship, or even if the past, has been anchoring you down, and it's almost like you're not trusting things in your life, you're not trusting people in your life, and it's preventing you from change. You let go of this, as it says, these two came underneath each other, World card and change. You can see it. Those two basically mean the same thing, kind of. Then things will change. You'll start seeing things move in your life, too. So it's interesting, a lot of these relationship type of dynamics that have been coming with a lot of your questions, but this one specific relationship has got to go, and even the idea of it's got to go. And I think you know what we're talking about here. There's also like a sun energy, too, that I'm picking up on that you also have to let go of. Like either there's a sun energy that you're trying to like fix, and he's not listening. You just also have to let go of a sun dynamic, and so I feel like there's a sun energy that you have to let him do his thing. And stop allowing yourself to be wrapped up in, his mistakes, and let that energy go. Okay? So a lot of this is letting go of these relationships that we're just mentioning. That sun energy I'm feeling, but also this past relationship energy that might be present still, or you're still in, or just you're still holding on to it. Whatever the dynamic is, it's got to go. It's creating like more trust issues, more heartache. But when you put these aside, then things will change. You have to make a change. So you could start seeing the bigger picture. Okay? Very simple with the card pull on that one. What's going on in the room? General question from Marie J. If people have been in an extended spiritual struggle, does that mean they just aren't learning the lessons, even if they are doing their best? Good question. Let's do this. Put that on the screen, shall we? That's a really good question, and I don't know if I like that bubbly look. I don't know if I like that whole look. Do we like this look? This look? That's probably better. Or this one. They all look kind of bloated to me. Good thing. Now, there's two parameters to that, actually. One is, you could be going through a struggle that you're just not learning. But there's also, and not that I'm sad to say this, but there's also just a part that you have to experience the struggle. A lot of times people have to understand they have to experience that hardship, that the hardship itself is what needs to be experienced. And so therefore you can learn a lesson, but the lesson is I have to experience this hardship, and let me embrace the hardship. Let me embrace the limitation. Let me understand what this is actually allowing me to feel. There's a lot of that too. And so, like I said in the very beginning about karmic lessons, sometimes, like I said, if someone has victimized somebody in the past lifetime and they're in this life, they have to just feel what it's like to be a victim. They can't get out of that, so they understand what it's like to be a victim to whatever extent they victimize somebody. Then they have to experience that. And like I said in many other times before, you can't manifest your way out of that. You could affirm all you want, but if you're not learning that karmic lesson, ain't nothing going to happen. Nothing going to trying to affirm is going to manifest. It'll manifest when you learn a karmic lesson, right? But the key is saying whatever the struggle is, say, what am I really feeling from this struggle? Let's understand the feeling. Let's nestle in with this feeling. Say, this is how I feel about it, and I'm going through it. I'm not trying to get out of it. I'm feeling the feelings of this situation, and then I'm allowing myself to also grow from that as well. And like I said in the beginning, about being objective about it, and also imagining others who go through the same situation too. And that's also probably another way that karmic lesson is there to bring you empathy for those who are in those situations too. And so that's another dynamic to karmic lessons. So, a lot of times people think like, okay, well, then I'm just having, abusive relationships, and so I have to be empowered. It's like, yeah, that's true too, but also address what it's like to feel victimized and have empathy for others who have the same situation. I see people who go through struggles all the time, and then they go through a struggle and they get out of it, and they call people stupid for people who are going through the same struggle instead of having empathy. So, he was the last one. My pop is 13. I'm calming down. Okay, I hope that Juanita, that made sense, the question there. So again, like we have to understand all parameters. So like if, in my past, I looked at it from every angle. I looked at the fact of what is teaching me. I experienced the situation to give me the power that I need to understand, and also imagine others who go through the same situation, if not worse, giving that empathy. And understand, and then having more of a compassion after the fact when I empower myself for those who go through those situations, having more compassion, not seeing them as stupid, and just saying like I have compassion for what they're going through. That's how you can become well-rounded on, learning that karmic lesson. So it's those different parameters, having the empathy, actually experiencing the experience for what it is and stop trying to bypass it, and then learning the empowering message behind it. There's different dynamics of karmic lesson we should accomplish and we should learn, so we get the most from it. Okay, because remember, you want to also, if you have a past life regression, you'll be able to understand. Well, I'm experiencing this right now in my life because I know that I've put someone through shit. I put someone through massive amounts of shit, and so this is me experiencing that. Okay, so good question, and there's of course a lot of different variables to that, but we can all do that together, all at once. LV, welcome. Again, small group, but a powerful group. All right, last question is Noel for card pool. Let's see here. I would laugh if it's the same exact card pulls as last week. That would make me laugh. Noel. Let me see for Noel. I think that was the last question too, and I could do close with the collective. Make sure, yeah. Okay. And guys, I'll keep it's open for like 5 more minutes. If anyone who wants a card pull, as it falls on the floor. Anybody wants a card pull? It's reversed here. Guys want a card pull, $50, $20 for 1 question, $30 for 2 questions. I'm going to close that in a minute. So if you guys have a question, get it in now before I close it. Because once that goes off the screen, then I won't be taking more questions. And Nina can also assist on that too. Nina, should we also be able to, rename the Nightbot? Can we put your name as the Nightbot? Does it have to say Nightbot? It's weird. Let me see here. Shuffle these two. Let me look at something right here really quick, because I have to refresh my meaning of this in the reverse really quick. Okay, interesting. Something is going to come to light, Noel. Either someone who's either defrauded you or done something in secret, that secret's going to be revealed soon. Someone's going to be called out for their bullshit in your life. So, and it might have to deal with money, something financially, an investment somehow, or within the family. So if you're wondering about whether or not this individual will be caught or exposed, yep, they will be. All the secrets and all the things that were hidden will come to the surface. It could be in your family or extended somehow of some nature. And it seems to be something financially or an investment or a debt or a scheme, something of that nature. They will be called out for it. Interesting. There's a lot of fear coming from this situation. So especially the fear and the void also came out with those cards in conjunction, which means, again, the fear is like there's a lot of anxiety surrounding the situation, but the void is just like, again, unknown, something that's unknown and secretive. Because I also got with the tarot, it was the moon card, which is, I'm dropping my cards left and right. I don't know if that's a sign too. And the moon's about secrets, things being hidden. So if you're wondering if that will be revealed, that will be revealed. Okay. Look at this. Amazing. Noel says, my previous employer embezzled money and they were found guilty in court today. There you go. There you go. Came to light. And a lot more is probably going to come to the surface too. And it's because then Ten of Pentacles, it's all about money. It was in the reverse position. So that's all about like money embezzlement or, defrauding people on pay, all that stuff. So maybe you'll be entitled to some sort of money. Right? Maybe you realize that, maybe some employers are due money or somehow. You'll get a check or something, you know what I mean? So something of that nature. So, interesting. And if speed is not always on point, they're always on point. I just have to make sure I'm conveying it correctly. Yeah, people think they're going to won't get caught, but they get caught. People get caught. I mean, again, karma will happen, sooner or later. Okay, so I'm going to close down. The questions are now closed, as it now says on the screen. The questions are now closed. And we'll do like a final closing. Anyone have any like general questions, like questions related to like just overall general questions? Anybody have any questions of that nature in the chat? Who's in the chat here? The 23 remaining people. We got to get that, like, add a couple more zeros to that 23. Spirit, get to it. Anybody have any kind of general topic related questions before I do my collective closing and before I close the live? General questions? Because I'll shuffle for some closings. Everyone who paid for a question, thank you. It's a give and take relationship we have here. As you all need to learn, it should always be give and take. And, before, as I was doing, lives on Instagram, I was just taking people just asking questions for free, and I was just feeling so drained. And you have to make sure there's a ebb and flow, a give and take and things. And so when I get a question now, I was like, I want to invest in it now because you gave something, you brought something to the table. So those of you who are empaths in the room, please make sure that you're also getting in return of what you're putting out too. It works both ways. So a lot of you guys need to understand how to receive. And so, if you keep giving and giving, you're basically telling the universe that no, I don't need to receive anything. I'm sorry, KO. Did you send in? You did a card pull? What do you want here? Let me see. What do you want over here? The way I said that, I sounded very mafia.
7:15.
Hold on a second. It needs my. Oh, we got another one coming in for a card. Was that for? Is that Tommy? Is KO Tommy? I have Zelle. I mean, I have to announce my phone number everywhere. I do have Zelle. But that means I have to, like, give my phone number out to everybody on a live. And I don't want my phone number everywhere on the live, my cell phone number. But I do have Zelle. I use Zelle with a lot of my friends when we go out to eat. Let's see, because I just got a question from Tommy. Is that KO? Is that you, Tommy? I did yours, Kim. Did you do another one? Let me see. Tommy wants a card pull. Let me do this. I could do email. Let me see. I'll do that next time for Zelle. Then I'll see what email that I have registered with Zelle, and I'll do that too. Here's a card pull for Tommy, and then I'll check on Kimberly and see if there's another one. Okay, Tommy Grassi. Tommy Grassi. Grassi. It's not supposed to sound like that. It's only one R. All right, well, Tommy, these cards are having a hard time shuffling, so maybe you're having a hard time balancing things right now in your life. I don't know. Let's see. Because, boy, that was complicated shuffle. Let me just look here for a second, because I get a couple cards. Again, I'm not a tarot reader, guys. I'm a psychic medium. I use tarot for lives and stuff like this, and I understand a lot of it. But sometimes I get a reversal that I'm like, what does that mean again? So I just have to look at that, and then I can use my intuition to understand where it's coming from, because I'm not familiar with... Okay. Got it. Makes sense with the other cards. Let me pull some oracles. Yeah, because there's some cards I don't get reversals on much. I'm like, is that what I think it is? And with my new tarot deck, like, it's really, I can't rely on the pictures as you can with the normal tarot deck. The pictures tell it all. So I'm also trying to identify with newer pictures. So I figure that's a good way to teach myself to learn things. Okay, so Tommy, I feel like there's gonna be a new. I love how these cards always matched each other. There's gonna be like a new work opportunity coming your way. Finances will be restored. So if it's been a little bit of financial slump, I feel like finance is going to pick up. More so by the end of this year, kind of falling into also 2024. If you had two options, I feel like one option will manifest, or there might be two opportunities that unfold, that one will actually line up and turn into something. And it seems, again, we got the unexpected card, so it might be very unexpected for you. But they're saying there is that change. Again, an opportunity, some sort of work opportunity that provides more income and more resource. And again, it might be two options that come to your way, that one will actually become the one that you would not expect to be the one. So it actually is a good read, actually, in a sense of, again, anything in the financial sector or anything in the career sector is actually changing. A great opportunity is about to unfold. And I'm kind of guessing the next 2 or 3 months. One of these two opportunities will become something very unexpected. So I think that if you're looking for change and a career opportunity, it's right around the corner. I mean, it's so blunt about that. And you might team up with a business partner or maybe it's just an individual, a male energy that comes in that really kind of assists with this opportunity as well. And it'll be very obvious to you when that happens. You're saying you're good at attracting people too. Like, you're good at working with people, so you should know that. You should embrace more about your working with people and how good you are about working with people. But also knowing your own independence with the work that you do too, and whatever your endeavor you're pursuing. Understanding who you are as an individual in that regard with this kind of craft that you're doing, and then also understanding that how you're good at attracting people with it, and how you're good at relating with people, they're saying. I think that's going to be a huge part in this opportunity that unfolds for you. That's going to be, again, your own individual strength and what you're able to do and what you're capable of. And, of course, attracting others and reaching others through that. Okay, so it seems like an opportunity that's going to connect you with others too somehow. I don't know what way. I guess that's the unexpected card that we saw and the surprise of it all. So if you've been waiting for this type of opportunity, it's around the corner. Okay, that's positive. That's exciting. And I think we had one from Kimberly. What did you do, Kimberly? Thank you, LV. Yeah, I mean, if there's someone who's coming in and wants a question, I'm not going to turn it down, right? So if someone's asking for it, I'm not going to turn it down. I can definitely open it up. If you want to ask another question, that's quite fine. Okay, Kimberly, I've got you. Card pull for Kimberly. I got you, Kim. I got you here. I see it. We got you. Okay. Let's see. Surprised I'm not wearing any hats today, huh? I was like, should I wear a hat today? I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the blue today. Just let the blue shine on its own. I'm like, maybe I'm doing too much of the hat. Let my bald head shine through. Which is shade by choice because I'm smart enough to know when there's not enough hair to carry it through. Just cut it all off. I think, because it's funny, if I shave it really close, but when I let it grow, you see there's like I have a thin line here. I think it's from all the channeling that I do. It's kind of burnt my scalp. Because it's like a little spot right here. All that spirit coming in and out of there. All that insight coming in and out of there. Wow, I'm getting a lot of new cards that I don't usually pull. Bear with me, because I need to get one interpretation of one card here, because and how it reads in the rest of it. I'm being transparent, because I don't. Those who have sessions with me know I don't use cards in my sessions usually. But I think this is mentioning something else. Yeah, I think this. I think there's there's somebody coming in. A relationship. I think there's going to be a past relationship that's going to resurface. And I think it's going to help you move forward in certain aspects of your life. So you might have a visit from an old acquaintance. It seems like somebody who has a very authoritarian type of energy. Now, it doesn't have to be romantic either. It could also be like a father-like energy of some sort. Or that father energy from the past is trying to knock on your door, whatever the case is. But I feel like there would be that reconnection of a past acquaintance. But the purpose of this is so that you have a transformation. And the purpose of that is so that you actually can transform, let go of certain things of your past that need to be transformed, Kim. So, and so that you can attract better people in your life. So I think sometimes when older people revisit, it's because we need to learn from those experiences so we can attract better things in our future. And so, yeah, and they're saying you're a very resilient type of person is the energy I'm also getting from this. Like you're really kind of headstrong on what you're doing. And sometimes you're so headstrong, you're missing the bigger picture sometimes, and that you might carry too much. So I think that's something that I think is, and look, the sovereignty card with you comes again too. Well, I think this is saying too that you might be too independent for your own good at sometimes too. And I think this individual coming from your past can help you to be less independent in a sense of where you're isolating yourself and more focused on attracting new people, attracting a new community of people too. So that's what I'm sensing is next. It's coming next. This is more predictive. Even with Tommy, that was more predictive actually. Like Tommy needed something of the future. I think we'll answer this question now. Some of the other cards about what's going on presently. This is future for you, Kim. So past acquaintance, past relationships, past somebody coming through that's going to help you transform and allow you to get out of your isolation mode to attract a new community of people. Okay? All right. That is all with the questions. And let's do a final closing segment. Christopher, how you feeling, bud? You feel a little better today? Or not today, but are you feeling a little better now? Yeah, but this, like Kim, this past person that's going to come in is going to open you up and to make you like realize you need to let go of that past energy and allow yourself to open up. You know what I'm saying? And open up to newer communities of people. Okay. All right. Let's see what the closing message is for y'all who are still left in the room. 21, solid 21. We gotta grow this channel. So guys, share this channel. Tell your friends. You know, if someone wants to read and wants even maybe they're just people who maybe question about booking, they could get a question answered here. And if they can't afford a full session with me, they can do questions here. Tell your friends, invite people, bring people. Let's build this channel. We always have a great community of people, but again, it's new on YouTube, but I really want to start growing it and getting a bigger audience and get this music to play. Sorry if that was too loud. Let's do a collective read in closing for everybody. Here's that music. But this is good music. Last one was like a template. It was horrible. Like a Vegas show. Let's see what the collective reads for everybody. Let's see. Do I have? They need to make all these options a little better for me too, where I don't have to keep switching back and forth because they have banners and yada yada yada. Okay. We'll put this. We'll leave it blank. Look how clear it looks without any freaking things on the screen. Okay, the closing. I'm actually not going to shuffle cards on this one. I want to go balls to the wall like I usually do. Let me call out. See, I'm going to do something different. I think I'm going to call out whoever's in the room that needs a message. And let me just see randomly here. Somebody is grieving or coming to terms with the loss of father energy in the room. And I have to say that, first of all, the grief is normal. Grief is a natural process. We don't have to bypass grief. We can actually allow grief to be a natural occurrence, to resurrect the love that we have for the individual. But I feel like there's a loss, you're feeling lost because of this loss of this father energy. And I feel like you feel alone because I feel like you've maybe had other deaths in your life in conjunction to this father energy, that now there's no one left. And maybe your mom has also passed at some time too, that there's nobody left and you're feeling quite alone. And the message is that you're not alone. And that first you need to grieve all of that and come to terms with that thing of being alone. Get familiar with that. Allow yourself to feel what that really feels like. What does it feel like? I'm alone. Do I really not have anybody? And maybe not in the physical terms, you might not have those individuals anymore. But you're thinking, you do have connection to spirit. And maybe learn about ways that you can actually connect with spirit and understand that, consorting with those that have passed on, and even living in memory of such, you can create the feeling of support. Because anyone who is in your physical life brought wisdom, brought experience, brought some sort of, I would say experience to your own experience that brings more enlightenment to yourself and also feedback. That will always remain. So even though they might be gone and they might not be in the physical world any longer, their messages, their interactions, their insights are still remaining. Their essence is still active. You're never alone because you still always have the feed from those that you love. Even if they reemerge into non-physical, they're still present. What they've always leave behind their essence. So you really can't be alone. And a lot of times I say, well, it's in my mind. Well, being alone is just in your mind because you can go out anywhere in the world and mingle with people. You can find support from other people. So being alone is all in your mind too. But if you allow those that you love who have passed on to be present through their messages when they were in the living state, allowing that to live on, and the experiences that they shared with you, allowing that to live on, because you can always go back and conjure those experiences at any time you'd like to, and remembering the connection that you've obtained with them, you won't be alone. And you'll start realizing it's impossible to be alone. Because then you'll allow yourself to actually conjure and connect with spirit, because then you're allowing yourself to be open. And through that grief, you're realizing the immense amount of love that you've had for this individual. For not just that one individual, but those that you've loved as a whole. You start realizing the love that you possess within yourself for that. And the more you allow yourself to be open, then you become a conduit to actually consort and to channel spirit themselves with you and those that you love. So whoever's dealing with that grief right now and the loss of father energy, please understand their energy is still living on with you. And even if it's just in your head, it's in your head. Like, again, being alone is just in your head too. So I think if you allow yourself to grieve and let the grief to resurrect the love that you had from them, you'll allow yourself to reach their spirit. And then you realize they're actually with you and they're present with you. So the simple message is your father is with you. Is by your side, has not left you. And so is your mother, and so the loved ones have also crossed on, that you're not alone. It's impossible to be alone. Don't let that be an illusion. Because there's so many people, even when you're out and about, there's so many people in the grocery store, there's so many people that are waiting to meet you. And this communities of people are ready to welcome you. Don't deprive yourself of that because you're resisting the grief process. And being alone, again, is just a perception. Allow yourself to feel the presence of those that you've loved that were in the physical. Allow that energy to filter in the present and keeping that active. So then the result will actually be that you connect with spirits, literally. And you have that direct communication now with them in spirit. Okay? So that's for everybody else in the room too, who might be going through a little bit of grief and experiencing a loss and maybe feeling alone because those that you've lost, maybe you've all passed on. But they are spirit. You are spirit. We are all spirit. We can't lose that connection. Physicality is just a presentation. We don't always present ourselves in a physical way. Sometimes we present ourselves in ways that are very, not so dense. Okay? And an emotion is not a physical thing too. Your love for your loved one is not a physical thing. We express it physically, but the love you have is invisible. It's non-physical. Keep tuning into the non-physical expressions with those that you love who've merged on, and watch the results that will happen. You might realize, hey, I think I'm a medium. And please remember, all of your dreams that you have, all the loved ones that you have in your dream state are actual visitations. Okay? That's your consciousness and your soul connecting with that consciousness of the soul of your loved one too. It's all connected in that way. How do I know? Well, I'm a psychic medium. I've been doing this since I was a child. I know. Okay? All right, guys. Well, it's been a great Thursday. Intimate but solid crowd. Yes, your dad is with you. And maybe that's for you, Allie. Maybe that message was for you. Okay? And you're allowing yourself to connect with people that are just, surrounding yourself with people where you're not alone, or people who are very similar. It's a similar vibe, a similar community. You're not alone. Okay? Nina, thank you so much for being a great mod. Christopher, I hope you feel better, buddy. And we definitely will do an exchange next week for sure. And anybody who's has any questions, well, no, questions are done. But if you have questions about sessions, if you want to book a one-on-one session with me, the link is in the description, actually. I'm still talking like I'm on Instagram. I will offer mediumship sessions, one-on-one sessions, of course, like life readings, and also intuition builders, of course, that I help people to develop their intuition and mediumship abilities. And of course, my one-on-one sessions are different than pulling cards. I actually really tune in and do automatic writing. We really dive in to your soul purpose and what is going on and why things are actually being manifested in your life. It's really in depth in a one-on-one session. These are just kind of for fun questions, and they're very accurate, these questions even now too, but we go more in depth on a one-on-one session. We have the time to. And as you know, mediumship, I always have a hard time saying mediumship, but mediumship sessions are, of course, connected with your loved ones, and that's a wonderful experience to have, especially if you're going through grief right now and need that connection or insight or need someone to be a voice for your loved one. It's a wonderful session that I enjoy doing. because always unexpected. I always get nervous before a mediumship session because I never know what's going to come. And so that's always exciting too. So the different sessions, again, offer them through phone or Zoom. Or you could just join me every Thursday too, for a live, and I'll have different topics every live as I've done. This is my 27th episode. I've done 25 of them on Instagram. And please share this page if those that need insight or want to build a community. Just share my page with those people as well. With those people, it sounds so general. And so thanks for everybody for joining. I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful evening, and I will see you next Thursday. And as I always say, you're all... Hold on a second. Let me make sure I can close this. Like I always say to every single one of you guys, you're all the gods and goddesses of your own myth. What do you want to create? Much love. Good night, guys.